Hey, how's it going, everybody? So, my name is Social Avarice, and this is gonna be my first YouTube video, and I decided to do it on a game that's kind of special to me. Um, I grew up for 10 years playing this game on and off. It's none other than Final Fantasy XI, this ancient old fart of a game that was playing on servers back on the PS2 era. Now, this game has aged not the best. I know there was a recent influx of players back in 2014 or so that came back to check out the game, and it seems like the community's just dragged down since then. So I'm gonna take a look at it, see how playable it is for older players such as myself who were playing back in 04, 05, how it compares to the golden age, which it really doesn't at all. The community just can't support that type of level anymore. But to also see just how these slice of life improvements have come together and really brought this game not as far as I thought it was gonna go. So I'm gonna start off with just a new character, start from the beginning, because my max character looks like a potato. So back in the day I always played a Gallica. I mained Samurai for just a couple years back around 2008. I went by the name of Lugnuts on the Sura. So I'm going to do something a little different. I'm going to go with the classic Manthra. Just give me a second here to choose what kind of look I want. And now it's the most important thing. It's where you decide your starting points. It's usually good to know where you're going when you're choosing this type of job anyway, and just really give you that type of head start in this long dragged out grind fest. I think I'm going to start off with Monk. Usually Monk's a safe choice for any type of sub-job starting out melee-wise. And I've been playing on Odin recently on another character I was playing out, and it seems to have a lot better of a community still than my old server Sura did. Now for me, I can only ever start at two cities, and that's Sandarine and Windurst. I don't know how people start off in Bastock. I think quad odds are terrible, and it's just such a gray, gross land. The only thing good really Bastock has going for it is what's called Guskin Mines, where back in the day, you could level up from, 1 to 3 or 5 before, bordering out and having to deal with those guys. But I definitely have to say I'm going to Windurst this time. I gotta stay with my Cardinals. Now I remember playing back in like 2005 or so, soloing, trying to get up to level 10 to go out to Malcolm Dunes, and I would always, at level 5, I would go to Outer Hiroto Ruins and just grind on the goblins in there, just farm onions, and get to level 10. I can't even count the number of hours I've spent in Outer Hiroto Ruins. Now they really should have gave us some way to try to skip this, because people have been seeing this for 13 years now. 13 to 15 years. They know what's going on. This doesn't really offer too much. I will say how disappointing it is that when they started making Final Fantasy 14, they basically just copy and paste half the content from 11. I mean, Gridania is definitely Winders, like, there's no doubt about it. The only city they made, kind of unique was Limsa, and that's really just Bastock, only more of a port than like a mining city. And here we are, starting in Port Windurst, which was always my favorite zone because you could just zip right out the front door and start leveling up outside on the bees and the Mandragos without running everywhere. I always thought it was kind of weird how they made Tarus look like little onions. Like, they're just the worst. I remember back in the day, I used to have such a vendetta against any Taru by red mages I met. They were always just such the biggest dicks. Every single one of them. If you were a Taru red mage playing Final Fantasy XI back in 2006, you were an asshole to every other player you ever spoke to, and that's a fact. Come on, just keep telling me about the shops. I always thought it was also strange that they decided to bring Shantoto into Final Fantasy XIV and not that little guy that just ran across the screen whose name I already can't remember. He was always way more closely tied with the Winder storyline than Shantoto was, from what I remember. Yeah, Shantoto got her own, like, little add-on pack, but... And here we are, just starting. And just take a look here. Let's see how many current players are online. 507, which is terrible if anybody remembers back in the day, because servers averaged upwards of 2,000 players during peak hours. So as you can see, even on the more populated servers, their population's just been decimated. Oh man, I've been playing this game for so many years. This is basically my entire childhood right here, which is sad. So here's one of the slice of life improvements. Any home point crystals you click on, you cannot teleport to, which that would have been the most helpful thing in the world back in the day. I'm telling you, that would have revolutionized everything. That way it didn't take me 3 hours to go between Windurst and Valkyrie Dunes every single time until I got an airship pass. Gotta get the Signat, or else this is not worth anything. And gotta throw on my beginner gear. Alright, and let's get to the core gameplay. Clicking on a menu and then standing there until the enemy's dead. So these books right here are, in my opinion, the thing that ultimately brought down the community in Final Fantasy XI. They were fine up until they removed the repeated use feature where you could just keep grinding the books. And then, traditional parties went out the window. Nobody was partying in Valkyrie Dunes anymore. Nobody was, trying to fight in, Crawler's Nest or any of those old classic zones. They turned into book burning parties and that was really the end, because that was around the same time as Abyssia came out, and Abyssia took a shit all over the goddess's face. And this is the entire game now. No hotkey bars, no, action combat skills, none of that. Just this thrilling, engaging combat system known as menus. Now that's another thing that would have blown my mind back in 2004 when I was playing this on my old PS2. It's fucking. I remember when decent challenges gave 50 experience. 50. If you were a Taru Black Mage soloing from 1 to 10, that shit took you for 3 days. Because every single monster you'd be fucking healing afterwards. And this was another reason why it took 3 days, because these little bastards would sleep you, and then they can't hit you for shit. So you're just standing there with sleep on you for 3 minutes until it finally hits you again. Heaven forbid it's an easy prey, or else you're never getting unslept. You better message your link shell and ask somebody to come over and fucking cast Cure on you. So just a little bit of knowledge of my previous experience with this game. So I played, like I said, on and off between, I got the game sometime around 2004, shortly after it came out in America on the PS2. I used to always, growing up, I was only 8 years old or so when this game came out at the time. So I was real young, too young to play this game, but I really enjoyed it. So I played this on and off. I always switch between this game, and I don't know if anybody else remembers the gem, but EverQuest Online Adventures, which came out also on the PS2. Fantastic game. Such a shame the EverQuest devs didn't give 2 shits about it out their first 9 months. But yeah, so I played on and off for years on, years off, playing different characters. My main ended up I created back in 2006 or so. I played for the most amount of time. He ended up being about a level 60 or so Gallic samurai named Lugnuts, trademarked. And I just remember sitting beside Juno, just begging for parties for White Gates. For I was so happy after if I only had to wait 4 hours for a goddamn party. This game was so crazy. This game took up way too much fucking time for people. only took 4 mobs to level. I do believe they also leveled up the amount that you skill up on your combat skills to try to offset how insanely fast people level nowadays. And this is leveling without even any of the ROV items, of course. Which is absolutely insane amounts of experience, especially when you couple it with a ring. You know, level in that shadow world and getting, you know, 3,000 experience per decent challenge. Absolutely nuts. I was ecstatic if my party was getting 300 experience per kill. I think my biggest challenge with this playthrough is going to be getting economically stable on the server with this character, because even back when, you know, the economy was strong, thriving, I was still terrible at making gil in this game. Like, I was level 60 still farming silk threads for 10k per stack. Like, I was always poor. I was always poor. It was pathetic. And don't worry, I'll make macros later. I just don't feel like doing it right now. They're such a pain to do all your skills for. Which really, what type of social engineering does this game have? Because I still remember macros from 10 years ago off the top of my head. Freaking dash JA, quotations, combo, triangle brackets, target. Like, that's not information I need in my day-to-day life. That's never helped me land a job. Yet I remember that over my own social security number. And these chests give you armor and equipment, but it's based on like a 3-chance number game, and it's so tedious. It's just so tedious. I don't ever care to do it. And I know I miss out on a ton of equipment, you know, that, you know, could save me, you know, that problem I was talking about earlier with Gil, but no. Those chests just aren't for me. Not my forte. And something else I've always wondered is, what's that? What are mandragoras? Like, are those little vests they have? Why does this radish have a vest on? And why does he have flippers? That doesn't help him in any. He's a land animal. How do flippers help him? He can't fly. He's like a bee. He's just too fat. He's anatomically incorrect to be a thing. And here, I'm going to fight my first goddamn Rarab. Anybody that's played Final Fantasy XI knows that no matter what level you are, even to this day, there's going to be a rabbit out there that's going to boot kick you in the teeth and you're going to die. It's going to be devastating. And that's still crazy. 160 experience for easy prey. Did anybody else ever back in the day, when they were out here, you know, fighting gobs, or, you know, crawlers or whatever, and they get, you know, poisoned or dead, and, you know, they end up dying after the fight because they can't save themselves, because they're level 4, and there's just a squishy meat bag? Did anybody ever just go on a rampage later on, like, when you're level 9, you just come through, you train them all, you hit them with fire when you're a level 13 black mage, you can feel good about yourself. You get cussed out by a couple level 3s because you're stealing their mobs. You're like, this is for me, on my insides. I need to let them know what they did to me. I just got 120 XP for killing an easy prey. minus. That'd be like the experience we'd be getting if, like, when you were level 13 and a party still fighting goddamn lizard crawlers in Valkyrie Dunes because your party sucks and your tank doesn't have any goddamn gear yet. He's still wearing bronze, Salbger. And he's a Taru, so he has 7 health. And you got a Gallica White Mage without the Astral Rings, and you just fucking know you're gonna have a terrible 3 hours. You're gonna get 1 level and die 3 times. Because you're gonna fucking aggro a goblin at level 14 and can't handle it. And bam, level 5, halfway to Valkyrie Dunes, if that was still even a place. But we've been doing this video for a while, so I'm going to cut it off on this first part here. If you like this video, I'd like to thank you. If you want to subscribe to my channel, I'm going to be doing a whole lot more different MMOs. I'm an MMO junkie. I'm going to be doing a lot of like RPGs, action games, etc. I'm not too big into horror games. Maybe I'll try out since Outlast 2 just came out and everybody's humping that dry leg. But anyway, I'd like to thank you once again. I'm Social Aris. You guys have a great day.